Once again, you already know what it is, and you already know where you have reached. It's me, it's your boy, Sean Hubbard. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly is officially on the air. It is Thursday, June 26th, and I'm super happy to be with you guys once again for another episode of HUBBanomics, man. Truly another fantastic day, especially considering the fact of how hot it's been in New York City. Today was a little bit of a breather. Temperature were down about 10 degrees, 10, 15 degrees. So definitely happy that I was able to kind of get outside and I went to work today and didn't feel like I was sweating my brains out just standing in place. So with that being said, I salute everyone. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Thursday to each and every one of you. Thank you all for being here. Some of the people early in the chat right now. Clown13Z4 Tweezy says, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you too, sir. Wishing me safe and my family safe travels on our vacation. Yes, we're on a plane tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Your mouth to God's ears. Get there safely, get back safely. Make sure you check out my boy Conrad on Clash of the Podcast. He's going to be bringing forth our show without me for this one particular week. With a guest co-host, my understanding is, and then I'll be back the following week. So make sure you check it out. And I will be in the chat. So I'll be interacting with you guys in the chat. Then I'll be back with you live the following week. Quilly's in the building. Sir Quills, the one and only Sir Quills says, what's up, Hubs? It's your boy, Sir Quills, here again to enjoy yet another dope edition of HUBBanomics. This topic tonight should be very interesting. Hashtag HWW. I think so, man. I appreciate that. M. Leezy Fosheezy in the building. Hello, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're doing well, too, Matt. Thank you so much and continued appreciation for everything you do. Speaking of appreciation, appreciate my co-host and my friend Conrad Cushman being in the building. Conrad once again is going to hold it down for Clash of the Podcast on Monday night, and then I will be back the following week to join the party. So make sure you check out Conrad and his guests on Monday, and then I will be back to co-host and reestablish the tag team on the following Monday. Quill's giving Conrad some love, Conrad giving Quill some love, and let's get ready to rock and roll, man. Look, ever since last Friday night on SmackDown, the wrestling world has been a buzz about what people are calling, the pipe bomb 2.0. John Cena recreated the pipe bomb 14 years later as it relates to CM Punk and what he did on June 27th, 2011 on Monday Night Raw. How you feel about them using Ron Killings to make way for this promo? I don't like it personally. I feel like already they have tossed a lot of cold water on R-Truth when he was the hottest he's been in his time in the entire company, other than maybe when he and the Miz were facing The Rock and John Cena back in 2011. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where R-Truth is once again a casualty of the moment, considering the fact that it was all about Cena and Punk, and the night was supposed to be about R-Truth and Cena. So, what we feel about that, we'll kind of keep moving on from that. But the focus on tonight is, the pipe bomb and what John Cena did in recreating the CM Punk promo from 2011. Before we get there, though, let's take a quick look back, guys, at CM Punk's career. We all know the story, 2006 debuting after going through OVW and working with Paul Heyman in OVW, ended up, joining WWE, the ECW version, the WWE version of ECW in 2006. He won the ECW championship. Part of the DX team at Survivor Series, which was kind of like a stamp of approval, in my opinion, at the time. We all know how Paul Levesque is. If somebody gets too big too soon, he'll try and chop your knees out. But at the time, I guess Punk Punk wasn't big enough for Paul Levesque to feel threatened. So it was cool for Punk to be on the team at that particular time, especially in Chicago. And Punk, along with the Hardy Boys, and DX were successful cleaning out the opposing team. I believe it was 5-0. Not one member of Team DX got eliminated that night. CM Punk eventually joined the main roster. He's won a couple of Money in the Banks. At this point, he's won a couple of Money in the Banks, a couple world championships, but still not getting the full recognition he deserves. I remember there was a 6-pack scramble or a 5-man scramble, whatever it may have been, where CM Punk was set to defend the World Heavyweight Championship, but got jumped in the backstage area, never made it to the match. And then Chris Jericho ended up coming in and winning the title later on that night. So CM Punk, after winning Money in the Bank the first time, never got a chance to defend the title on the pay-per-view because he was jumped backstage and injured. Similar for our more recent fans, similar to the way Bayley was attacked by Becky Lynch. We didn't know it was Becky Lynch, but attacked by Becky Lynch and left off of WrestleMania. Same kind of deal. So, and how I feel about that, I don't like that either, but that's neither here nor there. Here's the deal, though. During the time CM Punk was coming into his own, most of us, and I'll include myself, were not taking CM Punk super seriously because of the way he was positioned. I mean, how can you blame the fans, guys, for not believing in a character or not really getting behind a character when the machine known as WWE continues to adversely affect that person's career? CM Punk was never put in advantageous situations to be successful. Yes, he won Money in the Bank. Yes, he won world championships, but he was always considered, subservient and subpar to John Cena, right? So fast forward to June 27, 2011, CM Punk had just taken over leadership of the Nexus. It turns out that did not last very long, but he took over leadership of the Nexus, attacked John Cena, and not long after that, CM Punk, kayfabe, let's be honest, storyline wise, was unhappy, even though a little bit of storyline and real life did kind of cross over. CM Punk, expressed his displeasure with the company and considered leaving the company, right? So, I mean, obviously he had a brand new contract, but at the same time, it was kind of like a good storyline. And like I said, there was some truth in the storyline, which made it really interesting. So CM Punk is thinking about leaving WWE, but he has a title shot at Money in the Bank 2011. So he's in a situation where he can become the WWE champion against John Cena, and he's threatening to win the title and take the title home, right? Where does that sound familiar? Fast forward 14 years, we could talk about that too. But he's threatening to take the title home. Obviously, Vince McMahon doesn't want that. Obviously, John Cena doesn't want that. John Laurinaitis at the time doesn't want that. The entire WWE storyline perspective-wise is up in arms and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. But one thing that really I will give WWE credit for is allowing CM Punk to have a moment as he sits, Indian style, crisscross applesauce, young kids would say, on the stage of Monday Night Raw on June 27, 2011, with a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt on, and talks about John Cena. And, we all know what he says. He says, as you sit there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you could possibly be, I just want to say that I don't hate you. I don't even dislike you. I do like you. He talks about how John Cena is not better than him in any way except kissing Vince McMahon's butt. And, other than Dwayne, there's nobody, he doesn't have any disrespect for him, but he doesn't like the fact that John Cena is considered the best. He says, you're not the best. I'm the best in the world. And it's really cool how WWE allowed this to happen. Let's be real. Let's be adults. Let's be honest. WWE allowed that promo to take place. And it was good. It was really good. 2011 on June 27th on Raw was the day that CM Punk truly arrived in this industry. Yes, again, he had been a world champion. Yes, again, he had been a Money in the Bank winner. But never in CM Punk's career did he have the momentum that he gained on that night, that he gained in that moment. He mentioned his friends like Colt Cabana and people like that from other wrestling organizations. He mentioned Brock Lesnar, who wasn't with the company at the time. He mentioned several people who weren't with the company at the time, people who were considered off limits. Again, you can't sit up here and say that CM Punk did that on his own. WWE allowed that to happen. So let's be, this is me being a fair you know, I guess, partaker of the product and saying, okay, good job, WWE. You guys in that moment allowed something special to happen. You gave CM Punk a live mic. You put him in a position to cook. He cooked, and history was made. So that would lead to, CM Punk winning the title at Money in the Bank, air quote, leaving the company, which would lead to a champion versus champion match at SummerSlam, as John Cena would win the WWE title, even though CM Punk was a WWE champion, against Rey Mysterio on Raw. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, Rey Mysterio is a former WWE champion. Held the title for about 2 hours. So, all in all, CM Punk did what he wanted to do. CM Punk put himself in a position to be the voice of the voiceless, to be a anti-hero, to be a Stone Cold Steve Austin type character. Ironically, he was wearing Stone Cold t-shirt at the time. And he would go on to face Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. I was there, WrestleMania 28. He would go on to, face The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29. And somewhere along the line, I guess, as we were heading into WrestleMania 30, or I guess you could say the Royal Rumble 2014 would be CM Punk's last match in WWE for many years. CM Punk would eventually leave the company, as rumors backstage would circulate that it was going to be CM Punk versus Triple H at WrestleMania. CM Punk's lifelong dream is to be the main event, as in the last match of the night. I know we have a conversation, and there's a matter of conjecture about whether or not you can be a main event without being the last match of the night. Look, Rock and Hogan WrestleMania 18 was the main event of WrestleMania 18. But Chris Jericho versus Triple H was the last match of the night. So, you can be a main event without being the last match of the night. But CM Punk wanted to be the last match of the night. Now, do I believe that CM Punk has shown some selfishness in his professional wrestling career? I do. I do believe that CM Punk has been wronged in some ways, but I also believe that CM Punk has brought some of this stuff on himself. I know that may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm just being honest. CM Punk was not always given the opportunity that he deserved. CM Punk deserved to be in the main event of possibly 28 and 29. But CM Punk also was in prominent roles in those WrestleManias, and CM Punk had gripes that were not really gripes. Now, if you're going to say that he wasn't properly taken care of medically, as he said in certain interviews, he said he had some kind of ailment that the WWE staff was not taking care of properly. If you want to say that he was continuing to be overlooked and undervalued, you can say that. But at the same time, he definitely got some prominent opportunities. Now, would I say that The Miz in WrestleMania 27 should have been further along than CM Punk in 2010, 2011, 2012? No. But again, was CM Punk mistreated and undervalued in WWE? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Everybody has their opinion. That's fine. But the bottom line is CM Punk in 2011, through the rest of his tenure, his first tenure with the company through the beginning of 2014, was a prominent figure in the company. He was one of the big draws of WWE. He left. Again, some people might say that he abandoned the fans. I don't believe he abandoned the fans. I believe he went ahead and did what he had to do. He went ahead and did what he had to do to take care of himself and his family, and he felt like being in World Wrestling Entertainment was not the best idea. Now, I've heard the rumors, I've heard the stories about how WWE reached out to CM Punk and asked, I don't know if it was him, to make a chat. Let me know if you guys know the story. Like, CM Punk was supposed to make a date or something like that, but he had just gotten married, and then WWE asked him, Vince asked him to be somewhere, but he just got married, and it was the way he described, I don't know the whole story, A through Z, but the way I remember it, it was disrespectful. WWE was disrespectful to Phil Brooks. But then again, Phil Brooks has not done everything on the up and up either. So, one hand washes the other. We have to understand that there are certain things that we have to take into consideration before we just completely back Phil Brooks and say, hey, he's 100% right. Hey, WWE did him dirty. I'm not a WWE fan. Anybody who knows, Clown, Vinny, Conrad, obviously, my co-host on Clash of the Podcast, M. Leezy Fashizi, Quills, everybody knows that I am not the biggest WWE fan, right? I'm a wrestling fan. That's why I support the product, because I support wrestling. But no, I do not respect all the things that WWE does. Thank you, Clown. It says he got his papers, his termination papers on his wedding day. Completely disrespectful and rude and just a complete slap in the face. But if that's the case, and I know I'm kind of going off on a different subject right now, but just go with me and let's take the ride together. CM Punk certainly looks pretty happy in WWE in 2025. I'll tell you that. Now, I'll tell you this. If you fired me on my wedding day, and if you didn't, these are all the rumors that were out there. If you fired me on my wedding day, and if you didn't give me proper medical treatment, and if you held me down, I don't care if it's been 10 years. I don't care if it's been 100 years. I'm not coming back to work for you again. Now, you have to ask yourself, is CM Punk back in WWE because he wants to be in WWE? Or did the CM Punk realize this is pretty much it and he better make it work this time or he's not going to be able to work anywhere? Okay? So, again, you're talking to one of the biggest people in the world who will criticize WWE. WWE stinks in many ways, shapes, and forms, and they have not done CM Punk right in many occasions. But at the same time, CM Punk has done some things that have been questionable as well. The situation in AEW, the fighting backstage, I don't care who started it. You have to be a professional. You have to put yourself in a position to not get yourself in trouble. But it is what it is. CM Punk came back, Survivor Series 2023, the roof blew off the place. Everything has been cool ever since. Seems like things are working out. John Cena, let's take a trip down memory lane with him. Joined the company in 2002. OVW before that. Challenged Kurt Angle. Ruthless Aggression. United States Championship. WWE Championship against JBL in WrestleMania 21. Triple H, I believe the match that really put him in the upper echelon of WWE talent when he tapped out Triple H at WrestleMania 22. Then he taps out Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. Didn't like that very much. I'm an HBK fan, but I digress. CM Punk, biggest star from, I'd say, 2011 to 2013-ish. But John Cena, the biggest star in WWE, I don't like to admit it, but the biggest star in WWE for probably a decade. I'm not going to say the entire 25 years he was with the company. That's too much. I don't think he's the greatest of all time, Michael Cole voice. But I do think he's established himself as a top 15, top 10 player in the history of the company. I'm not going to take that away from him. He's a fantastic sports entertainer. That's what he does. But he's also, as my boy Conrad would say, a culture vulture. He kind of became prominent in our mind's eye as it pertains to being a wrestler that we can get behind and like. In 2004 with the Doctor of HUBBanomics, and then when he became WWE champion, he ended up, I don't know, kind of abandoning that and going to this, soldier kind of gimmick. Kind of corny, if you ask me. Hip hop is what got you there. You should have stuck with it when you made it to the top, but I digress. Cena all of a sudden starts talking crap about The Rock, about how The Rock is Hollywood and doesn't go back, doesn't come back as often as he should. And then Cena had to eat his words because then Cena became a movie star, not as big as The Rock, not even close, but he's been doing his thing, John Cena has. Starts going out making movies. I mean, movies that are better than the Marine, straight to DVD. I mean, actual movies. and then becomes a part-timer. The torch gets passed to Roman Reigns. CM Punk is back. John Cena is a part-timer. But then John Cena, let's fast forward to this year, John Cena announces that he is going to retire. And he's going to go on a farewell tour. And you could see and feel that CM Punk potentially would be on a collision course with John Cena. That I think it would be a collision course that would lead to Clash of Champions in Saudi Arabia? No. But that's what we got. So in preparation for this match, WWE and or John Cena, and I guess you have to collaborate CM Punk in it too, because CM Punk laid on that stupid Slim Jim table for about 8 minutes while John Cena did the promo, decided to do a Pipe Bomb 2.0. John Cena pretty much reiterated the entire promo that CM Punk did back in 2011, adding some sauce to it, some up-to-date facts about CM Punk. Obviously switched it from it being about Cena to being about Punk. And I got to admit, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was actually really good. So it sets the stage. It sets the stage for a contest between John Cena and CM Punk at the Clash of Champions. But my question to you guys is, or Night of Champions, whatever the pay-per-view is called, whatever the PLE is called. Excuse me. But my question is this, and we're going to get to that question in 1 second after we get to some of the comments. Big shout out to everybody, who's in the comments in the chat right now. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Conrad with a programming note about our show. Conrad's guest host to take my place for 1 week is going to be BJ. And I will be back the following week. So BJ is going to take my place as guest host on this coming Monday, and I'll be back the following Monday. So the show goes on as I'm in Miami. So I appreciate that. Clown says, thought it was a Slim Jim commercial. I agree. Totally stupid. And like I said, it just goes back to WWE being sluts. Or as you actually, Clown, corrected me last time, more like, well, I won't say that word, but they're taking money for the services, so you know what that makes them. Emily Z. Frashizi says, Cena was very good, not as good as Punk, but the biggest miscarriage of justice is Ron Killings being sacrificed for this. I agree with you 100% about the Ron Killings part. As far as what was better or not, I'll get back to that in a second. Sir Quill says, this is WWE Hubs. What are the mainly known lame DQ finishes with no remorse shown for whoever's expense, including Ron Killings? No question about that. No question about that. Just disrespectful and totally out of line for somebody who you're allegedly trying to push now that he's back. Conrad says, y'all know how I felt. It was good. Some reaches in the promo and felt like they didn't go all the way with the controversy. Yeah, they kind of held back because WWE holds back. That's what they do. They're cowards. Clown says, I told you my conspiracy theory on Ron. He wasn't fired. He was told he would not be resigned. They saw a backlash, allowed him to change to Ron Killings, that is, for his indie run and gave him some extra money. Okay, maybe so. Conrad says, I was laughing had I witnessed, but I knew Punk from before. Punk was hurt being a Heyman guy in 2006. No argument there. Conrad also says, interesting how he climbed the ladder. Touche. Good point. Clown says, yes, Conrad, being labeled a Heyman guy from the start because Paul was running OVW, and the mentality was how Paul built up ECW guys. Yes, and also the mentality was that Paul Heyman fought back against Vince, Stephanie, and Shane. Not so much Shane. Shane actually likes Paul Heyman. But Stephanie, I don't care what Stephanie, I don't care if Stephanie kisses Paul Heyman at Hall of Fame ceremonies and hugs him and says, Stephanie hated Paul Heyman's guts, and nobody can tell me different, and so did Vince. Vinny, the only Vinny we like, says, Cena exposed Punk for the fraud he is. Oh, my. Okay, Vinny, I hear you, dog. Clown says, could have been so much better had he actually was allowed to show up in Ring of Honor. Conrad says Heyman pushed for him to win, and I think Vince would punish Heyman and the people associated. Sadly, I agree. Vince was and continues to be a very vindictive individual and a petty individual also. Very similar characteristics in his daughter, by the way. Conrad says similar to Jim Ross with Foley. That's a fact. Gomez was wrong both times. That's a fact also. Vinny says he was salty. Miz got the WrestleMania main event before him. Yeah, but in that case, I actually agree. I mean, Miz deserved his moment, but not before CM Punk, Vinny. And Vinny goes on to say Kofi and Dolph would kill for the treatment Punk got in 2011 to 2014. No argument there. I'll give you that. Conrad says Punk hit all the goals, but he was middled like Savage and others in the path. That's true. I mean, the CM Punk Macho Man comparison, Conrad, is very valid. No argument there. Michael P.S. Hayes tells a story on how Punk on the Punk DVD and how he was punished for being backed by Paul Heyman. Clown 13, he says. Vinny says, in Brawl Out, if Brawl Out doesn't happen in AEW, is Punk even in WWE right now? I say no. Good point, Vinny. The only Vinny we like. That fight doesn't break out, he probably is still in AEW, which is why I feel like Punk has to also look in the mirror and see a little bit of hypocrisy in himself. Conrad says, remember the VKM, I owe you one? Punk said you owe me 3 when do you stop buying the lies and garbage? Well, we all know that VKM is a liar. Conrad says, I agree with you, Hubbs, on Punk putting himself in some messy situations sometimes. No, I appreciate that, bro. M. Leezy says, I say Punk is back in WWE because both. He wants back in WWE, and it's the only place to go. I respect your opinion, but I think it's more the latter than the former. And Leezy goes on to say, WWE was happy to take AEW, biggest name, give him X amount of dollars, money, knowing that if he messes up, he's done. That's a fact. That's a good point. Cena top 5 in Vinny's book. Not in mine, but I respect it. Clown says different top 10s for different people. Cena isn't even in mine. He's not in mine either. Respect. Vinny says Cena's body of work is top 5. Respect your opinion, but got to disagree on that. Emily says how it's called Night of Champions with only 2 title matches. LOL, that's a fact. WWE's butt backwards when it comes to this stuff. So the question is this, guys. The question is this, because we got Collision tonight. Want to make sure you guys get a chance to watch Collision. Get a chance to watch TNA. Which promo was better? Was Pipe Bomb original better in 2011, or was Pipe Bomb 2.0? You guys are going to be surprised by my opinion. Because I am a CM Punk fan, even though I call him out for being a little bit of a hypocrite. I think John Cena's was better. I really do. I think John Cena came out and really showed his chops for being a heel. He obviously had to study the CM Punk promo from 2011, make sure he got it right. Like he messed up at first. He was like, if you sit there and you're most uncomfortable, and he kind of stumbled over his words. What he wanted to say was, as you sit there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you possibly could be. So he messed up on that part. But he got the hi, Claudio Castagnoli. He got that part right. He got everything right about I'm going to leave in 6 months with the WWE title. It was good. Unfortunately, we'll never know how long of a lasting effect this promo will have on John Cena's career because his career is ending in December anyway. We all know how long it lasted for CM Punk. CM Punk is still eating off of that promo 14 years later. So let's not overlook that. Big up to CM Punk for that. Big up to Phil Brooks for that. He's still eating off of that promo. So I'm never going to knock him for that. But I do think Cena's was better. I think Cena being able to remix it, make it his own, and make his points was very strong, man. Very, very strong. You can leave in the comments how you feel about whether the promo was better, worse, in the middle, the same. It doesn't really matter. But the bottom line is this, man. WWE continues to roll on. I have my doubts about it as far as the creative direction. We all know that. We got Night of Champions coming up on Saturday. I will be watching from poolside from Miami, Florida. I will go live, and I will talk about Goldberg if he wins the title, because I want everybody to join me on my live stream. You got to remember, if Goldberg wins, I will go online immediately afterwards. And when I say if Goldberg wins, I mean if Goldberg wins, and even if he loses to the Money in the Bank winner Seth Rollins right afterwards, if he wins that title even for 5 minutes, y'all got to come online and say, "Yo, Hubbs, you were right, man." Because let me tell you something. For the record, guys, as much as I can't stand Goldberg, as much as I would love to be wrong about Goldberg being the next World Heavyweight Champion, I do not trust Paul Levesque with that pencil in his hand. I don't. With that being said, I want to thank everybody. I saw Clown and now Quills as well, asking me, giving safe wishes and best wishes for my trip. I appreciate you guys so much for my journey to Florida. I will be back, should God be merciful, on Tuesday, which means I'll be ready to rock and roll with you guys the following Monday. Make sure you get with Conrad and BJ on this coming Monday in my absence, but I will be live in the chat, talking with you guys in the chat. I'm fired up about my trip. Gonna have a good time, but I'm also gonna be on my phone watching Night of Champions. And if Goldberg wins, I will go live. If Goldberg wins, I will go live. So I'll either see you on Saturday afternoon, or I will see you 2 Mondays from now back on the flagship that me and Conrad created, the one and only Clash of the Podcast. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing up. Try and share this video. Get the information out for both the Clash and for the HUBBanomics. It would really mean a lot to me. I appreciate you guys being here. God bless. Be encouraged. Evil never prevails. I'll see you guys either on Saturday for a quick one or back at my normal post in 2 Mondays from now. God bless you guys. Appreciate y'all so much, and we'll talk very soon. Salute.